Recording in progress.
Hello. So today we're going to talk about the flower essence of mugwort. Um, I made a few notes. So if you catch me looking down, I'm just putting my thoughts together. So for me, I started mugwort, which is this flower essence. I do not make this one. I ordered it online. Um, I started mugwort about a month, maybe 5 weeks ago. I've taken it kind of slow taking this one because this bottle should last you about 4 to 5 weeks, and I think I'm a little past halfway through it. I've been taking it on my off days and not on my work days because mugwort has been a pretty hardcore essence for me, which is great. Flower essences tend to be a bit more um, noticeable right away if there's something that you've actually been needing for quite a while. So I discovered like within an hour of taking mugwort that it was something I needed right away. Um, Mugwort flower essence, in my own wording, and then I'll share a little bit from some websites, is used to it for me. It's a truth serum, um, and it helped me express a lot of stuff that I had not been saying, that I was not aware that I wasn't saying, and that I wasn't aware that I wasn't acknowledging. And it's used to do divine feminine healing work, and it is used, well, a lot of people use the tincture and the tea to do like astral travel and dream work, which wasn't really why I gravitated towards it. Not quite interested in that right now. I'm more interested in being here in my human embodiment. um, However, it also is used to enhance your psychic abilities and gifts, which was not why I started taking it, but it's been like a nice, pleasant little gift while taking it, so I'm thankful for that. It's also used to help balance like alpha waves in the brain and to balance the brain. And what else? Oh, and it's used for reproductive stuff and menstrual cycle stuff, which I wasn't really doing it for menstrual stuff, but reproductive stuff, I figured since I am working consciously on divine feminine healing for myself, that it wouldn't be a bad idea to work with a plant ally for that. I do believe that mugwort is one of my plant allies for sure. I work with it pretty much in all forms. I smudge with it, I do the essence, I take the tincture, I drink the tea, um, and I really love mugwort. It's a beautiful plant stream of consciousness to work with. It's definitely a gift for me in this human incarnation. So, anyways, here's some things that I pulled up before this video from what other people in the flower essence community say about mugwort. It says, as a flower essence, mugwort assists women with fertility issues on many levels. Um, it can balance hormones in the body. Therefore, at any age, the flower essence assists with menstrual issues in young women, helps to bring on a monthly cycle, and helps women with eating disorders to regain balance in the reproductive regions. It can be taken at the end of a pregnancy to assist with birth and during the menopausal phase of a woman's life as a means to a hormone balance. It's not suggested to take during pregnancy, though. And on an emotional level, it helps an individual discover disharmony within the feminine body and opens the feeling world toward intuition. I will link this in the bio. And then this other page says mugwort is a good aid for help for people who need help remembering and processing their dreams, as well as those who have a vivid dream life, as it helps to integrate your dream self and your physical self into one consciousness. Mugwort helps emotions to naturally flow in and out of us. It's also an excellent flower essence for those who have overactive or nightmare filled dream life that gets in the way of restful sleep. Let's see, and then the next one. I did not know this till I was reading it today, but I like connected a bunch of dots reading this before I started the video. It says mugwort is particularly useful for spiritual souls who identify with Lemurian, Atlantean, ancient Egyptian, Pleiadian, and other spiritual civilizations who find it hard to bring forth their spiritual gifts here on Earth now. Mugwort holds the spiritual star template of the cosmos so that our multidimensional selves can be activated fully. It draws the energy of our cosmic heritage among the stars into our bodies so we can experience our divinity here and now. While we originated in the stars, this incarnation on Earth is about embodying our light in tangible ways to transform the consciousness of our times. Mugwort teaches us how to use our spiritual gifts in everyday ways so that we can integrate our spiritual knowledge here on Earth in this lifetime for embodied spirituality. And then it says, Mugwort enhances your ability to receive spiritual guidance and inspiration in your daily life and dreams. It's a useful essence when you are psychically open but don't have a balanced emotional body, so may experience heightened states of psychic awareness which can't be anchored in a grounded way. And it assists with multi-dimensional consciousness, dream recall and telepathy, psychic gifts, and spiritual communication and understandings. So, with Mugwort and myself, and what I've noticed, which I just read this one about the Atlanteans, so I'll kind of put that together towards the end, I think. I've noticed that it has definitely helped me release disharmony and frustration from my body. For those of you that know me, I've been wedding planning the last few months, and our wedding's coming up in about 2.5 or 3 weeks. And it's been highly stressful. Not so much like the wedding planning, like I'm not a bridezilla, but like emotionally it's been very stressful. And then I have not really felt like I was really in my feminine energy. I feel like I've been very in my masculine doing the wedding planning because my partner was doing what I feel like a lot of partners do with wedding planning, and he's like, oh, it's your big day and it's up to you and blah blah blah, and I'm like, no, it's our day and I need help doing this. And finally, just recently, he started like stepping up and helping because he didn't realize that I was feeling so alone and frustrated doing all the wedding planning. So I'm thankful that we did have that healthy communication and that he's stepping up. However, I don't think we would have had that healthy communication had I not been taking Mugwort. Very first night of taking Mugwort, I like word vomited all kinds of stuff on him that I just didn't realize I wasn't sharing. I didn't realize I wasn't acknowledging it. And I think it's easy in the spiritual community to unintentionally bypass. A lot of people teach about like the law of attraction and how like energy attracts like energy, which it does. I agree with that to a certain degree. However, I've heard in some of the Hicks teachings and stuff like that, which if you don't know who Hicks is like where the law of attraction teachings come from. Like when people have asked about trauma coming up and stuff like that, they're like, oh, like you just need to not focus on that so you stop vibrating with that and blah blah blah. I don't agree with that. I think you do need to actively engage with trauma to complete the cycle and release it from your body so that you may release that density, those sandbags from your body, so that you may, like a hot air balloon, kind of rise up and vibrate from a higher point of attraction. I think if you don't work through the trauma, then you stay at that lower point, and your point of attraction is going to be the lower density kind of things, which I know does not go with like Hicks teachings. So anyways, I realized that maybe I'd been internalizing some of the Hicks teachings too much, and I wasn't talking about how I was stressed out, and I wasn't talking about my frustrations, and I wasn't talking about how like some things that came up for me wedding planning were very saddening to me, and they were like heavy, and like yeah, I cried and grieved, but I didn't just outright say like I'm sad and it's okay for me to be sad, you know. And as soon as I started taking Mugwort, like all of my stress came out, all of the feelings of sadness and depression that had been long ago buried started coming out, and it was kind of shocking. I didn't expect all that. It kind of like came out like a pimple. I just didn't expect it to all come up right away, but it did, and I needed it, and I'm very grateful for it. Kind of caught Chris off guard, and now we kind of joke because we'll be like, watch out, I'm Mugwort drunk, feelings might come out. And so yeah, and I mean some of the stuff that came out for me was like wedding planning is really stressful, and I was stressed about working on my business and stressed about switching jobs because I left a toxic workplace and went back to my old job, which has been a blessing. It's shown me a lot of my growth yet again. And then like just family wounding, like it's stressful going to therapy and then wedding planning and then really like doing the inner work so you can embody the practices you're studying, the modalities you're studying, the things that healers are working on. And so, I mean, that can be stressful, and it's not like a breath of fresh air when you're doing this stuff. Some of it is, some of it's not. And then, like, feeling sad, like, my family is not going to be at my wedding, and I've been doing work. I found this really wonderful resource. If any of you are adopted that are watching this, I highly recommend checking out this resource. If you go to wikitree.com, wikitree.com, and find the link for the adoption angels, you can get assigned an adoption angel to your adoption case, and they can help you find your lineage and your ancestors, which is a huge gift. Genealogy is kind of pricey to get into. So anyways, I was super blessed, and after being on the wait list for about 2 or 3 months, I was assigned an adoption angel, and I've managed to like become aware of so much ancestral stuff, and it's been really like heart-opening and heartwarming connecting with these lines that I feel a lot of my family is not connecting with. However, it's also been really saddening as I like am left with the living lineage and how short they fall for me. And so there's been a lot of pain and sadness with that, and I haven't allowed myself to just sit and be okay with it, because I thought crying was enough, but it's like sometimes you're going to be sad for maybe a few hours or a few days, and it's just that emotion finally leaving your fascia, your body, and going back to source, transmuted. And it's okay if it takes time to leave your body, because it took time to be stored in your body, and I wasn't really fully acknowledging that or fully aware that I needed to go ahead and allow that to happen. I was doing like journaling and all the other stuff, but that was something that Mugwort really helped me ground into, which it says that Mugwort does help you ground into your body. So I do feel like I became even more grounded in my body than I was before, and I've been doing a lot of body work, so I've gotten a lot better at grounding, but Mugwort definitely helped me with that. And then with the Divine Feminine healing, let's see. So it was interesting. When I got in my partnership with Chris, I had told him from the get-go I wasn't ready to date because I wanted to do womb healing and sacred sexuality healing, because I had a lot of trauma that happened to me right after high school, where I became homeless and had to sleep around with a lot of people for beds and food and showers, and on top of that, I'm sure there was other stuff that happened in past lives and religious programming, so I was always beating myself up for it. So there was a lot of feminine healing that needed going on, and the last several years Chris has been so wonderful in holding space for me as I've done that, and he doesn't pressure me for sex, and he lets me go at my own pace, and he sits with me as I have my realizations and share them with him, and it helps us deepen our emotional connection, which is a blessing. However, lately I noticed I wasn't really like in the mood at all for sex. And I mean, I think, yeah, part of it's the stress of wedding planning and working more and stuff like that, but I don't know, it's just kind of like felt like I haven't been in the mood. And I was doing a healing session for myself with one of my mentors, and we were doing some repatterning work for how I, like, the negatives and the positives of marriage that I had within me. And it was interesting because when I named the positives of what I saw in marriage, like, I saw like a travel buddy and companionship and someone to hold space with and build emotional connection with, and someone to encourage me to pursue my passions and vice versa. But none of it was physical, which is interesting to me because touch is one of my love languages, which they say for the love languages, usually they're the language of what you didn't really have growing up. So mine are touch and quality time. And I thought it was interesting talking about the marriage patterns, how touch wasn't there. So then I was talking to my psychotherapist about it, and she's also an energy worker, and she was like, well, from what I see and with the notes like that I've taken on you, she's like, it seems that there's a lot of sacral chakra clearing going on, and the divine feminine is healing in the absence of sex. And you're in a safe space to do it, and it's perfectly fine. And that's why it didn't come to your mind right away, because you're exploring what it's like to not have to put out or get out, which was like a huge confirmation for me that the healing work was paying off, and I was really grateful to hear that. And it let me release like all of that pain from my body after that session, which was great. And so it made me more accepting of where our relationship is right now. And then, let's see. Oh, and then going with like the alpha balancing in the brain. It's interesting because I had said in therapy the other day that I've noticed, I finally have begun noticing like my masculine and feminine energies are starting to balance out, and I'm becoming way more aware when my masculine's at work, way more aware when my feminine's at work. And now it's not like they're at odds with each other. It's like the masculine is protecting my feminine while she nurtures herself and nourishes herself, and they have this beautiful working relationship, which I had to explain to Chris. I was like, I can't give you too much nurturing and feminine energy right now, because I'm doing that for myself with my own feminine energies, and you're seeing a lot of my masculine side right now because my masculine is protecting my feminine from any other masculine energies that might kind of trample my feminine's growth. So it's pretty interesting because I associate the feminine mask with the balancing in the brain and all that. I was like, oh. And then another interesting like thing that I've noticed with Mugwort was when I had a client. There was a very unique session, and it was with that client that I noticed my telepathy started coming online a lot more, and I've just had like non-stop intuitive hits since that person. That person was definitely someone sent to activate me, and I was sent to activate them. And come to find out, we did share a life in Atlantis, and we both were very divine feminine people and very close friends, and there was a lot of trauma in how that person left Atlantis that I carried in my cells and that they carried in their cells, and there was a lot of guilt and shame and blame that I worked through after meeting that person, which was really great. But even working through it, like it's like I've noticed my gifts are definitely coming online a lot more. I'm starting to see way more visuals with my inner vision, which a lot of people talk about like seeing things and then they don't really say what it means, and then people are kind of confused in the beginning of their journeys. And for me, I was always like, what's it like to see? Like I never really saw stuff in the beginning of my journey. It was more like I sense stuff, I feel it in my body. Sometimes I hear it, but I never like saw stuff. I could just sense and visualize things. And so it's been interesting because now I am starting to see stuff with my eyes wide open, but I see it in like the mind's eye. So it's like I could see like the bushes outside my window, and if there was an elemental, I would see them with this eye kind of like blurred into the bushes, but not. It's like almost like seeing between dimensions, which I've noticed Mugwort also says that. You can straddle times and dimensions. And then after talking to that client too, it was very interesting because like I was describing what happened to Chris, and he was like not following all of it, and then I just had the realization like, oh, you're straddling different times right now, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then yeah, like it's just interesting. All my gifts are definitely coming online more and more, and my intuition's more spot on. I'm starting to pick up more on people's past life energies, which I mean, I've been doing my own past life healing work, so it's like really exciting to me to like be picking up on those little snippets, because I think past life work can be healing. It's just important not to get caught up in it. My channeled messages have been coming in a lot more clearly. There's a lot more confidence in my interaction with Mother Earth and the elementals, and my connection with Source, Creator, and how I go about doing things. My belief system has become a lot more solid, and I have a really healthy foundation spiritually and as an empath. And it's pretty cool to see it all coming online. And it's even like I have business ideas where it's like I want to expand. I don't think New Mexico is necessarily like the place for me to expand yet. I think I'll be expanding in Florida, which we'll be moving there in a year. Meanwhile, though, I think I need to take note of all the little things that are coming to me, so I can build on them. And yeah, like it's just pretty cool working with Mugwort. I've had to take it slow because it is really intense when the truth serum stuff comes out, and I do get really irritable when I take Mugwort because there's a lot of frustration that my feminine was holding in because I just wasn't allowing her to express. And so to honor her, I do hold space for her on my off days from work. So I've just been doing the essence 3 days a week, 4 times a day. And I try to do the essence after Chris goes to work so he doesn't catch any of my irritability. And then I go ahead and just like feel things out, journal things out, sunbathe, ground, tea, yoga, sometimes read, sometimes see what spirit says in music or on TV. And yeah, I've just been rolling with it, and I've really enjoyed Mugwort. I'll probably take another bottle after I finish this one. I think it would really benefit me. And yeah, I don't know, it's pretty awesome essence. So in all, it's definitely helpful in releasing frustration and releasing disharmony in the body, especially the feminine and emotional bodies. It's helpful for grounding. It's wonderful for divine feminine healing. For those that do resonate with Atlantis, Lemuria, the Pleiadians, might be useful for you to check out. And for those that are wanting to do throat chakra work, definitely a truth serum, and definitely helpful if you're trying to experience more alpha brainwaves, which alpha science has shown that when you're experiencing alpha waves, it tends to help you relax and it helps release pain, which science has started to study Reiki practitioners, and they have noted that when Reiki practitioners are channeling, that they channel from alpha brain states almost instantly, which I was reading about this in the Theta Healing book by Biana, I think it's Deval, which Theta Healing is a new modality that I will be studying, which I don't think would have quite come about had Mugwort not helped me develop my senses a bit more. So yeah. Anyways, hope that this video was helpful and useful, and take care and namaste.